We are recording.
Perfect. All right. Well, and again, welcome to the University of Texas Speaker Series for January 2021. This month we have NearMap, who's also one of our sponsors, presenting for us. We have Charles Staton, Tyler Behle, and Tom Konzel, who will be talking to us about NearMap. Charles?
Thank you very much, Ollie. Hi, everyone. My name is Charles Staton. I am a geospatial sales engineer with NearMap. So you can think of me as having a strong GIS background and sort of explaining the technical aspect of our technology, our capture system, and the content that NearMap provides. We have a lot to get through today, so I'm going to go at a little bit of a quicker pace so we have enough time for some Q&A at the end. All right. So NearMap is a location content provider. We all capture aerial imagery from fixed-winged aircraft and are able to capture vertical, oblique, and a unique term to NearMap is our panorama. We're able to get all of this content due to our proprietary camera system, which is built in-house, as well as the processing pipeline we use to host all of our imagery on the cloud within just a couple weeks of capture. So we have a very quick turnaround time in the aspect of hosting imagery to be consumed by our customers and partners. From this camera system, it also produces a suite of derivative content, mainly starting with a reality mesh 3D all the way to our latest innovation, which is our artificial intelligence or machine learning layers. So I'm going to get into those towards the end. Here's an example of our content that NearMap creates. You can see in the left, we have our NearMap vertical image. Whoops. This vertical image is going to be anywhere from 2.2 to 2.8 inch GSD resolution. So what that means is the measurements that are made on this imagery are going to be accurate within 6 inches of the real world. And then shifting over to the far right, we have the NearMap oblique imagery. We're able to get this due to our camera system being able to rotate on the bottom of the aircraft from 0 to 45 degrees, capturing images from different look angles, as well as each cardinal direction. And now in the center, with that panorama, that is going to be an uninterrupted pan and zoom stitched mosaic of the obliques, but they are for really for just visualization purposes only. Whereas the obliques on the right-hand side, you can see, are going to have that 2.2 inch GSD resolution where you're able to make accurate measurements, measuring height and width. Now, I just want to do a quick comparison of maybe some standard free available satellite imagery over here on the left. It is actually a little bit outdated. It's definitely a lower resolution, and we can see some incorrect labeling as well as ground features that are present or not present in the left image. And on the right, we have NearMap's vertical imagery. This was captured as late as September of last year. In this particular area, we're going to capture this region, which is Salt Lake City, Utah, twice per year with 2 of our camera systems. So you can see the evident change that has taken place. The image is visibly sharper, and it's going to be very good resolution for making accurate measurements off of. So where are we capturing regions? Mostly NearMap's business model is to fly these densely populated metro areas. So that you can see in this map, those areas are going to be the green areas. So drawing your attention to places like Dallas, Los Angeles, Seattle, New York City. Those areas are going to be our tier 1 regions, which they're going to get 3 captures per out the year. Twice with our vertical only camera, which produces a 2.8 inch GSD image. And second with our latest camera system, which we call Hyper Camera 2, and it produces a vertical and oblique 2.2 inch resolution image. Now, I mentioned that rotating camera system on the bottom. That is going to be reserved for our top 3 largest metro regions. So those green, orange, and purple areas are going to receive that 3D capture, or that oblique capture every year, which is going to give you the oblique and panoramas, as well as some of the derivative 3D content that we talked about. And then moving down, those orange areas like Salt Lake and Denver are going to get 2 captures per year. And then the suburban areas that are in the purple, think Colorado Springs, that's going to be 1 capture a year with our latest camera system. And then we have our less suburban areas, even still in those light blue regions, and they are just going to get 1 capture per year with our vertical camera system. So I mentioned those obliques earlier, and I kind of want to get a closer look here and sort of really explain to all of you how we're able to capture these and produce our derivative content from this camera. This camera, which we call Hypercamera 2, produces this oblique image that you see here. Now, I have several different photos to choose from, usually about 6 to 8 per cardinal direction. So we're going to take the best look angles from the camera that is rotating on the bottom of that aircraft, and we're also going to fly in a pattern very akin to mowing the lawn back and forth. So we're able to capture all of this imagery from multiple look angles as well as multiple cardinal directions. And what that's going to produce, firstly, is this reality textured mesh product, okay? This is an example of an FBX file type, which is widely accepted in Autodesk products, at a 15 centimeter or 6-inch resolution. Okay, so you can think of our imagery as being twice the resolution of our 3D textured mesh. Now, there are a lot of different things that this mesh is going to be valuable for. Many use cases, like the one I'm showing here, is going to be a viewshed analysis using ArcGIS Pro's suite of availability tools. So I can see if I want to place a camera or maybe look out from directly at this point on the building, everything in green is going to be within my viewshed, and the blind spots are going to be highlighted by that pink and purple color. So to alleviate this, following the laws of having perpendicular viewpoints, we're going to be able to view areas that are in yellow, as seen here, and those areas are going to be viewable by 2 or more view sheds. This is done to cover blind spots for security cameras, traffic cameras, or even new developments like this example here. So our NearMap 3D reality mesh is really providing context inside of this ArcGIS Pro scene. And what it's doing, it's going to help designers and engineers assess the current visibility and determine how new projects will affect views or access points from one to another. So these exploratory analysis tools that we're using enable these accurate 3D models of existing sites and adjacent buildings, which can be used to perform elevation heat maps for investing aspects such as a solar radiation output, for example, or a 4 or 5G cell phone tower propagation analysis. Okay, this textured mesh is going to be valuable in a lot of different scenarios, and then I'm going to get into some derivative products of this. Here's another feasibility study that I really like to showcase, and it's a fireworks display inside of the city of Grapevine, Texas. So doing a little bit of research, I found that professional fireworks shoot up about 650 feet in the air and explode and have a radius of about 700 square feet. From that, and using the availability tools inside of ArcGIS Pro, I'm able to select a vantage point from here where I'll be able to view the fireworks. As we can see from this vantage point, I'm actually clipping those trees right there. But as the firework goes much higher, my view is going to be pretty evident that I'm going to be able to see the whole firework from this view, and especially being around 2,000 feet away, it's going to be a very safe distance. Let's look at this example of a visual potential hazard. So we've got a flood hazard analysis here inside of Esri's flagship program, ArcGIS Urban, with NearMap's reality mesh providing context. So this shows a 21-inch SLR or sea level rise and what buildings would be heavily impacted. So this is valuable information when planning or executing an emergency response situation. So this NearMap 3D provides context for events such as this. It really drives home the power and information you're able to leverage inside of ArcGIS urban environments and NearMap 3D. Let's take a look at some derivative products from the reality mesh. And the first one is going to be our digital surface model. I like to use this example here because I'm going to take the elevation of the trees. We can see that the elevation is going to be 27 meters above mean sea level. So we capture all of this with our latest camera system, and we use the world gravitational model as it was flown in 2008 for our vertical datum, which is how we're able to leverage this information for elevation. Now, whoops, I'm gonna let that play through. And then I'm going to switch actually to our digital terrain or digital elevation model. So when I've enabled that, I'm going to click that same spot of the trees here. And now I see we have a stretched pixel value of 7 meters above mean sea level. And we're able to do this because we use a mixture of our available 3D content and our artificial intelligence to interpolate those ground points and get an accurate elevation level underneath those trees or anywhere in like high dense urban canyons. This elevation model is going to remove all of the surface features and give you a strong premise of a bare earth model so that you can create contours. So to recap, we've got the digital surface model and the digital elevation model. Those are exportable from our customer portal in NearMap. We have our web platform, as well as the textured mesh. They come in a variety of formats. OBJ and FBX are widely accepted in the Autodesk suite. 3MX is for Bentley's Open Roads or Concept Station. SLPK is going to be the scene layer package or Esri compatible format. OpenGS, OSGB and cesium tiles are open source and are great ways to integrate this mesh into your own custom application. We also produce a fully colorized 44 points per square meter point cloud, and that will come in an LAS or LAZ format. And lastly, we have the True Ortho product, which is going to be a high resolution image with eliminated building lean, and that will come in a GeoTIFF, ASCII, or JPEG format. All right, now I want to get into NearMap's latest piece of content, which is our AI layers. So over here inside of our web hosted platform, I have these available layer lists on here on the left. I'm going to turn on asphalt. And what the algorithm is going to do is pick up areas that are asphalt, as well as another impervious surface, which is concrete slabs, driveways, and roads. So right now, all of these layers that I'm showing exist in a beta format. And you can see I paused right there because what that is going to indicate, some of these layers might be not showing up as bright as other ones, and that is going to be indicative of NearMap's confidence level. So these exist in a single band raster format right now. So we have pixel values ranging from 0, which is definitely not a road or driveway, or pixel values to 255, which is definitely, absolutely a driveway or a piece of asphalt. We get really granular as well. So I've enabled road and asphalt, and those are going to really brighten up all of those confidence levels and really show the defining split between road and concrete slab so that we can see that this was absolutely a sidewalk here. All right, now I want to get into NearMap standard artificial intelligence layers over here seen on the left-hand screen. Now these layers are vectorized already, and they come downloadable in a geo package. So they have a geo database with feature data sets and then feature classes within those feature data sets. I'm going to enable tree overhang right here, increasing the opacity and showing that tree overhang on the roofs along with solar panels as well. And then lastly, I'm going to show our building outline footprints. So we've got all of these layers that you see here are going to be in a vectorized format with attribute tables and information with them. Now, NearMap has completed an AI capture on our fall 2019 data set, and as well as our spring 2020 data set. So our plan is to subsequently, after, capture these AI attributes on each flight so that people can really see that change detection from one flight to another, from year to year. All right, so here I've got some raster layers that I want to highlight. First being the driveway or concrete slab. So we can see in this neighborhood, I have these raster layers that are indicative of a driveway in this bright white, and then in this darker faded out color, those are all of the other pixel values that are very low, so probably close to 0. And all of those white ones are probably 253 to 255, indicating our confidence level that yes, this is indeed a driveway. And here we've got the building footprints inside of ArcGIS Pro, downloaded from our web application and brought inside to see the attribute table and the defining information behind each one of these. And that's going to include things like the property ID, the address, lat long, our confidence percentage, as well as the area estimated square foot and the dominant roof material, with several other aspects as well. So you get a lot of information and data with our vectorized data sets. Here's another one showing tree overhang, our confidence level, and the actual address of the tree overhang, as well as the estimated area square footage. This is very valuable to county assessors, solar installers, and any home repair service that is going to be accessing all of this data. And here's an example of our impervious surface as well as our vegetation layers. So we've got road, concrete slab, and driveway, as well as that bright green color is going to denote lawn grass. And then all of those pink puffy clouds are actually going to be high vegetation or trees above 6 feet. So this is just a little taste of what NearMap has been up to over the past year, and we're constantly innovating these data sets to really better help our customers. That's all that I have for you today. Now I'm going to pass it over to your enterprise account executive, Tyler Behle.
Thank you, Charles. All right. So I have the privilege of speaking to all of you guys in conjunction with Tom Konzel, who is the GIS supervisor for the city of Arlington. Just a quick little background on Tom. Tom has been involved in the GIS world for over 25 years. He is currently working as the enterprise GIS supervisor for the city of Arlington, Texas. And Tom has been a NearMap customer for the past couple years, and we are privileged to have him as a customer. Go ahead and switch to the next slide, please, Charles. So what we want to do today is we're just going to go over a quick little panel discussion. I have a couple questions for Tom. I don't want to do a lot of the speaking, so we'll be able to hear a lot from Tom. The first question that I have for Tom is, Tom, what separates NearMap from your previous aerial imagery vendor?
Hi, good morning, Tyler. The big difference for us is the change from our previous process. The previous process we had worked well for many years, and although it did work for us over a 2-year biennial period, we had kind of a longer wait time for the aerial imagery to be processed and delivered. And then once it was delivered, we had to store that and we found finding space available for that was a little bit challenging. So then after we downloaded and stored the imagery, we had to create our own tiled caches and services, and that was time and labor intensive. So fast forward to last year when we joined with NearMap, we entered into an agreement where we would get 3 surveys per year instead of 1 every 2 years of vertical imagery. Plus we received the oblique, panoramic, and 3D mesh with that contract. The real big difference has been the turnaround time on delivery and the timeliness of the imagery. We're also able to use the imagery in many different products. I think it's a service-oriented architecture interface, uses the REST API. It's fully compatible with Esri products, AutoCAD products, and a few others that we use here at the city. Using the NearMap imagery, the latest imagery in one of our applications means we don't have to touch that application again. As long as NearMap updates that link for the latest imagery, it will always have the latest imagery. That service will always contain the latest imagery, so we don't have to update our application, which is a very big time saver. So that's one of the biggest advantages to us at the City of Arlington is how we implement the service, and we don't have to maintain the back end or any of the data.
Great, thank you, Tom. And then you did mention the frequency. Just for the benefit of the group, if you could share with your previous vendor, how often were you getting the imagery and compared to what you're currently getting with NearMap?
Yeah, our previous vendor, we could only afford every 2 years at the time. So when a project would start, it might get captured in the spring, but then the imagery wouldn't be delivered until the fall, and the project might be over by that time. So with NearMap, we're able to follow a little bit closer, much more closely behind on a project, or on a project, construction project, like you're seeing on the screen. The new ballpark, the Globe Life Field in Arlington, we were able to more closely follow that project, and we could do measurements and other things that we couldn't do with our previous imagery.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Tom. And then the second question, I know that you briefly touched on this, but maybe we can dive a little deeper. And Charles, if you could go ahead and flip to the next slide. The second question I have for you is, what are some integrations and implementations that your organization uses with NearMap? And then how has been able to integrate NearMap content into those applications helped?
Okay, so I think there are a few cartograph users out there. We've downloaded one of the surveys, one of the NearMap survey collections to our local servers and created a tile cache for Cartograph OMS for that system to use. So we can create tile-based image map services, but those have to be, for us, for Cartograph, they had to be stored on site. But the real advantage is in some of the other ESRI products like Web App Builder, Portal, ArcGIS Online. You can use content out of the ESRI marketplace. You can use it as a base map in any of these applications, including ArcGIS Pro and ArcGIS Desktop. So any of the ESRI products you could use the NearMap in. And then we also have some custom internal applications where we've built some ground up JavaScript API applications where we use NearMap imagery. And then we also use the NearMap Oblique Viewer in, it's a web app builder widget that we use in one of our internal applications. So all the staff across the city can use any part of the NearMap imagery in any of our applications. We also built our own custom internal widget for Web App Builder that allows us to select the historical imagery. That's also been very helpful. We're quickly able to show the difference. Internal staff can see the difference between different years, different collections, going back to 2014. And we currently use Autodesk AutoCAD, AutoCAD Map, and AutoCAD Civil 3D, as well as we're investigating using it in our Intergraph computer-aided dispatch, and then of course ArcGIS Pro and desktop.
Great, thank you for that. And I love that you mentioned the NearMap Oblique viewer. For those on the call that are customers that may not have access to this, this is something that NearMap released probably less than a year ago. We are now able to integrate the NearMap content, the oblique content, into your Esri application, which is something that we've been working on for years. So I'm very happy to hear that you're using it, Tom, and that you're enjoying using it. Yeah, and the other benefit to it is it has a lot of the same functionality that you find in your NearMap browser. So you can do measurements, you can do height and distance. You can find points on the. I think you can do elevation, if I'm not mistaken, and you can do the cardinal directions around the image or around the location. Yeah, perfect. Again, I love that you said that. That's exactly how we built the functionality of it. We wanted it to resemble the map browser, which is our online application, so that you have the kind of the same feel as if you were using it within map browser. So awesome. Thank you for that, Tom. And then if you could go ahead and go to the last or the next slide, Charles, thank you. The last question that I have for you, Tom, is, and this is kind of just an open-ended question, but any specific use cases that NearMap has helped with within the different organizations in your city? Yeah, actually, I got quite a few responses back, quite a buzz from our internal users. So you can see our Public Works Stormwater division. They update impervious cover areas for billing. I think anyone who has impervious cover in their city and does billing based off that needs updated information, and it allows you to be more accurate in your assessment. They also monitor changes in streams and other topology due to erosion and sediment buildup. Our every 2-year imagery that we would get wouldn't allow for these kinds of things. So they're really able to get a much better picture over a shorter period of time and see those changes as they occur. So they also monitor areas that have been restored with vegetation. And then, as I said earlier, the previous imagery was just getting old and stale, and we didn't have the ability to update it as quickly. So NearMap, all in one package, allows us to view this imagery in our native applications or our in-house built applications and just hit the ground running. Our parks department, the arborist uses NearMap to check tree plantings and to make sure our tree inventory is up to date. I'm sure they also check, how trees are doing. They can see when they're leaf on and leaf off, make sure that they're coming back. And they can see the trees at different times of year. To see when they're dormant, as well as with leaves on the canopies, yeah. And then our information services and field ops, they draw in assets from plans, including stormwater pipes, signalized intersections, markings, and streetlights. You'd be, I think, one of the items that we struggled with 6-inch imagery. We never did purchase 3-inch imagery until NearMap. Actually, it's under 3-inch.
One of the items that we struggled with was the zoom level that we would provide to our users. The previous imagery that we had at 6-inch, we only went down to the 563 level, 1 to 563. Now we can go down a whole one more level, maybe 2 levels, and allow our users a more close-up view of the ground. That's one thing they've been asking us for years. So we can zoom in to the next level or 2 and provide them a much closer view of the ground. And then they also use the NearMap base map and cartograph. And this is another area where they want to see the closer or larger scale image of the ground, so they can determine what's on the ground a little bit better for their asset management.
Awesome. Now, Tom, you had mentioned, and I'm just curious, and Charles had walked the group through our AI offering, but one of our artificial intelligent attributes is the vegetation. Would you find it beneficial? I know that this is newer since you became a customer of NearMap, but would you find it beneficial to be able to view the different changes in the vegetation utilizing the artificial intelligence?
Yes, absolutely. That was one of the items that we were concerned about when we moved over from our old the old vendor over to NearMap, was how are we going to get the planimetrics and other features that we've grown accustomed to? And I think this may solve that problem. Another thing I wanted to mention was the swipe tool. We've had a lot of requests recently for the swipe tool, the web app builder swipe tool, and we're going to be implementing the swipe tool, where you can go back and forth and show two different image services, and you can compare them back and forth.
Yeah, for those that have seen what Tom is talking about, or those that have not, he's referring to swipe tool or the split screen. So you're able to access a split screen within our web application and be able to view one date on the left side versus one date on the right side, and be able to compare the change over time, which for construction, for vegetation, for high development areas, that is very key to be able to see that change over time.
Yes, definitely.
Well, great. Anything else that you'd want to, again, Tom, we appreciate your time. We love having you as a customer. We appreciate your loyalty and the support that you've given us. If there's anything else, or if there's not, I guess there's a couple questions. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to mention one other item. The how-to documents that you have online have been a tremendous help. People that aren't even customers, I think, can go there and see how they can implement this before they even contact you. I think I'm pretty sure that those are available to everyone.
They absolutely are,
yes.
Tom.
Yeah, so they can go. Well, I was going to say they can go look at that help documentation and see, how do I implement this in ArcGIS Desktop or Pro, or how do I incorporate the widget, or use it with this product or that product. So there's a lot of good help out there already.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that, Tom. It skipped my mind, but as you can see, Charles, if you can go back to that previous slide, just at the bottom of the slide. We have our docs page, just docs.nearmap.com. As Tom mentioned, you don't have to be a customer to view this. It has a lot of information, documentation on the different content types, the different integrations, the APIs, and be able to really give you an understanding of what NearMap has to offer, even before you become a customer. So thank you for mentioning that, Tom. Well, great. Again, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. And not sure, Brian, I think I'll turn the time over to you for any Q&A. If Brian's
So it looks like Brian is not here, so we can start the Q&A now. Let's see, there's a few questions in the chat. I'll just go ahead and read one off, and you guys can go from there. Let's see. So there's a question that says, is there a link to the Flood Viewer web app?
Maybe. I'll have to check with Esri on that. I believe it is a layer that they do offer though for our Boston ArcGIS Urban. So let me see if there is a link for that map. It's a great question.
And did you want to go on to that
Oh.
next question?
Oh, sorry. I don't
Oh
even
no,
have it.
I didn't
Oh.
know if Devin or
Oh,
Yeah, I can go on to the next one. I wasn't sure if there was, sorry, I thought there was maybe more there. So the next question actually is regarding the lat long that you mentioned in the attribute table for the buildings. Is it the center point of those buildings or something else?
yes, it would be the center point of those buildings, centroid.
Great, yeah, that's good. A good question, I think. Let's see here. Someone asks, going forward, will the Houston metro area be captured in 2.2 inch GSD for vertical and oblique?
Houston, yes, definitely gets, I believe they are a tier 2. So I believe, yes, they would absolutely get an HC2 capture. Yes, a 2.2 inch GSD vertical and oblique. Yes.
Okay, great. So actually related to that last question, what is the vertical and horizontal accuracy of the AI layers?
Yeah, so all of our imagery and all of the content comes from the same camera system. So our vertical accuracy can be expressed as 40 centimeters, and our horizontal accuracy of the imagery is going to be 28 centimeters.
Okay, great. We have another question. It says that, does NearMap have any DOT customers? And if so, are there any publicly published examples of use cases by DOTs?
Yes, I believe the Washington, D.C. DOT uses us. Let me think if there's any more. Tyler, feel free to jump in there on that one as well. Maybe I believe the Chicago Department of Transportation has an agreement with us.
yeah, we continue to work a lot. We have and of course they just slipped my mind. Yes, to answer your question, we do have a lot of use cases with Department of Transportations, and we can follow up with you, Jessica, and send you a couple of those examples.
Oh, Los Angeles Department of Transportation, as well as DDOT, Denver, I believe.
Thank you. Illinois Tollway. That's exactly what slipped
Detroit.
my mind, and Craig, you just put it in the chat, but Illinois Tollway, yes.
Detroit as well, and then also Los Angeles.
Awesome, yeah, that's a lot. We have another question that says, is the extraction tool / layers within Arc Pro an extra extension or included with our NearMap subscription?
The layers inside of ArcGIS Pro, extraction tool. For the AI layers, I just, yeah, I'm not sure of the extraction tool. The time slider toolbar. Yes, you can enable that inside of ArcGIS Pro. So when viewing our vertical imagery, we also have some information on the docs page on how to integrate the NearMap time slider tool inside of ArcGIS Pro, or the selection NearMap add-in tool for ArcMap as well. So you can slide between two multiple vintages inside of ArcGIS Pro as well.
Okay, great, thank you. Another question, can the 3D reality mesh data be viewed within Esri's ArcGIS Pro?
Yes, absolutely. So that will be the SLPK or scene layer package export from our web application. So you can view that in ArcGIS Pro or ArcGIS Online.
Okay, great. And then similar question to, is all of the NearMap content viewable within Esri's ArcGIS Pro? Does it require other software products?
Yep, so inside of ArcGIS Pro, you can view vertical imagery, you can view AI attributes, you can view textured reality mesh in SLPK format, you can view the LAS point cloud as well, and as well as the digital surface models and the digital elevation models in a GeoTIFF format. So yes, you can view all of our content inside of ArcGIS Pro.
Wonderful. Are there any extensions required to view it within the ArcGIS Pro product? I think you may have just covered that if you needed extensions. Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, and just real quick, just Grant, I love all your questions. I can follow up with you today, and we can hop on another demo, and Charles can walk you through. That's something that here at NearMap we obviously offer for our customers is any direct support. So thank you for all the questions.
We've got one more in the chat, and then we can kind of open it up to people to come off mute and ask as well.
Okay.
Does NearMap participate in any state or federal cooperative purchases program?
Yeah, I could go ahead and answer that, Charles.
Sure.
We continue to try and get on any state contracts. The two that would be important for Texas, one, we were just awarded the RFP for the NCT cog. And then two, we were awarded the RFP for the DIR, so the Texas DIR. Now, as far as NCT cog, that is already in play. The DIR, we are in the negotiation phase and hoping that that will be final within the next little bit. To answer your question with the GSA grant, that is something that we're continuing to work on, but that is the GSA is a big play for us and something that we will hopefully be on in the near future.
Thank you. So if anyone has a question, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask.
Charles, there's another question. Are there any plans to view imagery other than using the time slider toolbar like it was in ArcMap?
Oh, no, that would be just an Esri limitation of how they actually view temporal aspects. So yeah, I know what you're saying. In ArcMap, the NearMap add-in is just a drop-down menu of selectable dates. And then in ArcGIS Pro, it just works a little differently. Their time, quote unquote, time slider is a little bit more difficult to use, to say the least. It's kind of like looking at imagery in a particular time window, if you will, and then actually clicking the imagery to nail down the exact acquisition date. So that would be yeah, an Esri tool functionality limitation. I think that's just how they do it.
Thank you. Another question that's come into the chat, is the oblique imagery available in Pro?
Currently, no. I'll say that with quotes around it. Currently, our obliques exist only in two places, one inside of our map browser and then the other in ArcGIS Online, either through Portal or the Esri web app builder at this time. Currently not in Pro.
That any other questions for our presenters? You can either type it in the chat or you can unmute and ask.
So Tyler, this is Tom K again. So on the oblique imagery, are you saying that it will eventually be available in Pro?
Maybe. Maybe.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe. Maybe. I'm not saying it with confidence yet, but I think we're going to get there. Yes.
And that answers the last question, Grant. Will the obliques be viewable eventually? Maybe.
Plan to. I don't have a timeline and I don't want to say anything to anybody right now.
And the question, if you could, I don't know if you could speak on that, Charles, but just a follow-up question on that is, what is the issue making them viewable in ArcGIS Pro?
Oh, I have no idea. That's up to the product team.
but we will keep you posted on
Yes,
that.
you will keep everyone posted.
Other questions?
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining.
Yeah, hey y'all, this is Robert Wood. I'm the 2021 new chapter president of Texas, and I want to thank you, Rissa, for being here and for sponsoring us. This was a great presentation, and we're happy to have you on board with us. Thank you, and thank you to all who joined in. If you have any questions for us, you can send it to the Urissa email address on our website. We can forward it along to NearMap, or if you guys want to put your contact information out, be in direct contact with our members. So thanks again, and we really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Horizontal accuracy is 28 centimeters, 28.
Perfect. And just, sorry, a couple more questions coming in. Will this recording be posted to share with others? I believe Urissa will be sending not only the slide deck, but also the recording. So you will have that. And then Elsa put in the chat my email, tyler.behle@nearmap.com, and then charles.staton@nearmap.com. Go ahead and contact either of us for any further questions, or if you would like to schedule a demo.
Perfect. And yes, the with the PDHs, the slide deck and the link to the recording will come out.
Perfect. And thank you, Urissa, for letting us present.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you all.